The more that Jerry Jones, friend of the show, attempts to clarify what his definition of all in is, the less clear his definition becomes. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen of the Fish Report jury? Maybe that's the point. I'm Mike Fisher, your trusty and trusted reporter. The Dallas Cowboys owner was quizzed a couple days ago at the NFL Scouting Combine regarding some specifics of his bold pledge. And specifics proved to be elusive. Jerry's got a couple of old sayings, old Little Rock insurance salesman gibberish sayings. These aren't gibberish, these are actually really cute. When he's trying to talk about how to manage a big operation, he's got two of them. One of them is, Mr. Mike, it's like balancing peas on a plate. Like you're a waiter, and you're holding a plate, there's peas on it. Mr. Mike, it's like balancing peas on a plate. It's interesting that it's about food, because this is going to go to food also. When we get to where Jerry wants to take us, we're going to talk about a third kind of food. So there's peas on a plate, number one. Number two, managing the Dallas Cowboys like holding on to two fistfuls of Jell-O. Jell-O, or as we like to call it, Jell-O. And then the third one is the greatest thing since ice cream, which we'll get to in a minute. The more that Jerry talks, the more elusive these specifics become for the most part. And now we have a more muddled mess than ever regarding what are the Cowboys doing? I have, for 34 years covering the Cowboys, often been able to come up with an off-season blueprint. And the way I like to do it, if things work out right, it's not my blueprint, it's their blueprint. I get hints, guidance, winks, and I can end up coming with a Cowboy off-season blueprint that ends up being accurate, frankly. I'm struggling to do that here because Jerry's saying things that, to put it kindly, don't make any sense. To put it harshly, aren't even true. So here's Jerry speaking pure gibberish. And by the way, I do the best, worst Jerry imitation. I'm world famous for it. Mr. Media, Mr. Fan, we will be working on different players. He's defining all in now. We'll be working on different players and drafting different people. Just the very nature of it's different. Different people, we have different coaches. I think, just between us girls now, the attention that our nuances, where we are with the cap, the nuances of where we are with our position in the draft, the nuances of where we are, and I'm smiling when I say this, with our free agents, we get that involved with the definition of being all in. Oh, what? Diddly diddly dink. What? You just said 120 words, Mr. Jones, and you didn't say a thing. When you look at those aspects, and he closes, when you look at those aspects, we will be looking at every solution towards winning this year. That's not, you're not saying anything. We have different coaches. It's not saying anything. That's not all in. We will be working on different players. That's not all in. You have different coaches because Dan Quinn got a head coaching job. We'll be having different players. That's not all in. You always have different players. 30% turnover every year on every team. That's standard operating procedure. Of course you have different coaches and people and players. You don't get credit for those aspects. Jerry, you don't get credit for getting up in the morning and brushing your teeth and making your bed. We're doing some, our commitment, we're brushing our teeth. You don't get gold star for that. So let's try it again. Jerry, what else? Your definition of what is all in and my definition might not be the same thing, but I'm trying to win the games this year with my decision. So I'm all in this year. It doesn't mean anything. No, Jerry, using the word different without actually spelling out any actual differences is sound in the fury. Shakespeare, Faulkner, Jerry. Now, if he means, for instance, that Dallas will try to draft and sign bigger bodied defensive linemen, just as an example, that could be different, but it has nothing to do with any conventional definition of all in. Right? We used to like short, fast wide receivers. Now we like long, tall. Well, that's not all in. That's just a change in scouting philosophy, a tiny, minute change. Same with Jerry mentioning the nuances of where we are with our position in the draft, the nuances of where we are with our free agent. A nuance tells us nothing. It's just a fancy word that's hard to pronounce, difficult to pronounce when you're from Little Rock. It tells nobody nothing unless you tell us what the nuance is. And by the way, a nuance isn't all in either. Look up the definition of nuance. It's subtle. Again, just an example. Will this new nuance reveal itself? By the way, thank you for being here, Cowboys Nation. Fish heads in Cowboy Nation will be almost 70,000 strong. Please do hit the like button. That beats the algorithms, and it allows you to tell YouTube what kind of cowboy programming you want it to send to you. And would you please also subscribe here? It's free and well worth it. So maybe the new nuance reveals itself when the Cowboys bid on an expensive Tier 1 free agent, as opposed to lowballing Tyron Smith. I don't want to pay for Tyron Smith, but I'm going to go out and pay for another tackle. I wouldn't hold your breath on that. But that would be new. We're going to go after a Tier 1 free agent in the first 2 days of NFL free agency. Okay, so that's more than nuance. That would be an all-in type move. Will they flood the roster with a large collection of veteran free agents, one-year deals, befitting the notion that 2024 is more than just all in? It's more like, and I think this is a resounding phrase, all in, and then if we lose or don't win, all y'all are out. All in, then y'all are out. I think that's what all in might mean. All in might mean, listen, we're gonna do what we always do, and of course we're gonna try to win. And if it doesn't happen in 2024, y'all who are in, y'all are gonna be out. Thus, the pile of one-year contracts. Let's do it another try, Jerry, on the subject of Dak Prescott's position. Okay? Buckle your ass, hold on to your butts on this. In fact, take out a number 2 pencil and watch what I do here. Watch the magic that we perform with Cowboys' true history as opposed to nuance. Mr. Media, I've drafted quarterbacks for the future, okay? I would be reluctant to do that this year. That's Jerry talking. That's an example. Use our first pick for quarterback this year for the future. If you had an opportunity there, you're at number 24 and the greatest thing since ice cream. He's sitting there. I'd be reluctant to do that this year. That's called all in. Now, I've been translating Jerry for 34 years. What he's saying is that because of their commitment to Dak and 2024 / Dak in 2024, not necessarily beyond, Jerry's Cowboys would pass on a legitimate quarterback heir to Prescott in the first round to instead select a player at another position who can help immediately. Fine. Kind of. But at least I get it. At least that one, once you dig through it, I get what he's saying. We have a quarterback for 2024. Okay? We need an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, and a linebacker. And so, as much as it might benefit us in 2027 to have the next quarterback, we're all in right now on helping Dak's roster in 2024. So we're not going to draft. Okay, I get that. We're not going to draft that quarterback. Here's the two things about this that are troubling. One, so the Cowboys would be untrue to their board. They have Michael Penix, the quarterback. Let's say they have him ranked as the 17th best player. And they get to 24, and he's there. And they're going to take the 27th best player because he's a defensive tackle? Instead of taking, and again, in this scenario, Michael Penix is the greatest thing since ice cream quarterback. Jerry's words. They're going to take the defensive tackle that they need right now instead of taking the greatest thing since ice cream future quarterback. That seems unwise. Two, Mr. Mack, I've drafted quarterbacks for the future. Okay. That's Jerry's claim. Oh, Jerry, you have done no such thing. Ever. Number two pencils. Hold on to your butts. Classroom, not bar room. Troy Aikman and Steve Walsh, supplemental draft, were drafted here in 1989. That wasn't about selecting a future heir, nor assuming that we agree that day three dart throws on quarterbacks cannot be counted as future heirs. In other words, you don't draft guys in the fourth round and say, we're drafting him in the fourth, fifth, seventh round because he's our next star quarterback. You're just throwing a dart, okay? So we agree on that? 1991, fourth round pick, Bill Musgrave. Oh, Muskie. Not a future heir. Not viewed as a future heir. 2009, fourth round pick, Stephen McGee. No. 2016, fourth round pick, Dak Prescott. Was he viewed as the future heir when they drafted him? No. That was what all the guys what was it, Connor Cook? No, the guys in the first and second round that the Cowboys liked would have been future heirs. They threw a dart at Dak Prescott. And of course, he shows up at training camp and he's almost fourth string as he's competing with Jamil Showers, who's a safety. And then, of course, Romo gets hurt, Kellen gets hurt, and Dak is shockingly good. Shockingly good. 2018, fifth round pick, Mike White. No. 2000, seventh round pick, Ben DiNucci. Yay! No. They didn't draft Ben DiNucci because they thought he was the future heir to Dak Prescott. They drafted Ben DiNucci because he was Mike McCarthy's cousin's sister's barber's paper boy. Again, I'm going to argue that not even Dak Prescott, although it's turned out to be the future is now guy, he was not selected with them knowing he's going to someday take over for Romo and be as good or better than Romo. He is the heir. It was a crapshoot. And the rest of those guys were too. You have to agree with me that for this premise to work, for us together, the greatest thing since ice cream quarterback is never going to be taken in rounds 4, 5, and 7. It can happen. You can Tom Brady it, but that's never the plan. And if we agree on that, then the truth is, in 35 years, contrary to what Jerry Jones just said about all-in quarterbacks and ice cream, Jerry Jones has never drafted a quarterback to be a future heir. Never. Not, I've done it a lot of times before, okay? Never, Jerry. And a final all-in definition attempt from friend of the show, Jerry Jones. We're going to be doing every solution or working toward the solution being to win this year. every solution. That's what I mean by all in. What are we left with here? Maybe it's just a PR push. Maybe it's just Jerry gibberish. Or if it's anything substantial at all, again, he is stacking up this collection of lame duck coaches and now a lame duck possible quarterback. Maybe what Jerry secretly means by all in is we're all in because we're here and stuck with each other. And then after 2024, y'all are all out. Fish out.